First, opposition leader Aubrey Norton denies sexual harassment allegations made by Vanessa Kissoon, calling it a political plot. Kissoon provided a detailed account of the alleged incident. Norton plans legal action against the accuser. Stay tuned for more. Next, Dr. Amarnath Dukhi of GPHC denies responsibility for DeAndre Liverpool's death, citing incomplete tests and medication non-compliance. Former Health Minister Dr. Karen Cummins calls for a probe into GPHC's alleged mistreatment and malpractice. More on this story. Then, Nigel Hughes has been nominated for AFC leader, with David Patterson contesting for chairman. They aim to present a united front for the 2025 elections. Details coming up. Also, D'Angelo Semple, charged with manslaughter in the shooting death of Jared Jaganandan, was granted bail. The incident occurred at SMK Shaft Auto Sale. And finally, a train collision near Santiago, Chile, resulted in 2 deaths and 9 injuries. Initial reports suggest a signaling failure. Authorities are investigating. More details ahead. All this and more are coming up next on our Newscast. Stay tuned. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for June 20th, 2024. I'm Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, opposition leader and People's National Congress Reform leader Aubrey Norton has denied allegations of sexual harassment made by long-standing party member Vanessa Kissoon. The allegations surfaced in a Facebook post by US-based Guyanese Eglin Gomes, who claimed Norton made sexual advances towards Kissoon while returning from a funeral.
There's some allegation of sexual harassment against me. I repeat, it is false and malicious. I wish to make it very clear that at no time in my life did Sharma Solomon ever ask me to drop Vanessa Kissoon to Linden. Secondly, at no time Vanessa Kissoon and I were in any vehicle alone heading to Linden. All of these claims are false and malicious.
Norton called on Kissoon and Sharma Solomon to address the allegations, suggesting their silence implies complicity.
I wish to call on Sharma Solomon and Vanessa Kissoon to speak to this issue, since failure to do so will suggest that they are complicit in this false and malicious post.
Norton said the accusations are part of a political plot ahead of the party's Congress and elections. Following Norton's denial, Kissoon released a statement detailing an incident where Norton allegedly threatened her with sexual assault. She claimed Norton showed her a gun and made a threatening remark, although he did not carry out the threat.
I was in the passenger seat, he's the driver. And he showed me his gun in his foot. And he said, this is where he normally carries his gun. And then he further said to me, if I put this gun to your head and rape you, what would you do? I froze because I became very fearful for my life. I was speechless. I almost wet my skin that day because here is a comrade, one that I held as a comrade, doing this to me.
Kissoon said she had decided to address the issue publicly after Gomes revealed it without her consent.
Mr. Norton did not carry out those threats or desires, but I have carried the burden of this threat, disrespect and violation for years. And I did tell a few of my other comrades who I see as confidants about this story.
Kissoon emphasized the importance of protecting women and urged her fellow comrades to prioritize justice over political alliance.
Mr. Norton may have missed the times we are in and the value placed in protecting women and girls. No one should be subject to such inappropriate sexual advances and threats. To those men and women who have allowed politics and not what is right to influence your judgment of the situation. You have a lot to learn about abuse and sexual misconduct.
Meanwhile, Norton said he has instructed his lawyer to take legal action against Gomes for the initial social media post. He has yet to respond to Kissoon's detailed statement. Also making the headlines, Dr. Amarnath Dukhi, head of the neurosurgery department at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, has denied allegations of blame in the death of 31-year-old Deandra Liverpool, a patient treated for a brain tumor. Liverpool passed away on June 10th, prompting her family to accuse GPHC staff of neglect and malpractice. An autopsy later revealed a cerebral cyst as the cause of death, raising questions about the initial diagnosis. Dr. Dukhi explained that Liverpool first consulted him at a private hospital in April and was advised to undergo an MRI and other tests. Despite incomplete testing, she transitioned to GPHC in May. Dukhi stated that Liverpool's condition deteriorated rapidly due to her failure to take prescribed medications and complete necessary tests. By June 10th, her situation worsened, leading to her admission for emergency care, where she ultimately suffered a fatal seizure. Dukhi emphasized that comprehensive testing is essential before performing brain surgery and noted that the autopsy findings were related to the initial diagnosis. GPHC CEO Robbie Rambaran added that GPHC offered to provide Liverpool's medical records for further treatment abroad, which her family did not pursue. Meanwhile, former Health Minister Dr. Karen Cummins has called for a probe into mistreatment and malpractice allegations at Georgetown Public Hospital. Dr. Cummins highlighted several troubling cases, including an 80-year-old patient who reported poor treatment, a viral video of a patient lying on the hospital floor, and a mother who claims her daughter was misdiagnosed. On a different note, 20-year-old Deandra Semple of Kingsley Village, West Coast, Berbice, has been charged with manslaughter in connection with the shooting death of 18-year-old Jared Jaganandan when he appeared at the Vigilance Magistrates Court. Semple appeared before Magistrate Fabio Azur this morning, where he was formally charged. He did not enter a plea and was granted bail in the sum of $1 million with the condition that he lodge his passport. The incident occurred on March 21, 2024 at SMK Shaft Auto Sales in Lusignan, East Coast Demerara. Semple was arrested the same day by a Vigilance police station officer. According to the police report, the manager of Shaft Auto Sales returned to the store with his wife around 11:10 hours and observed Semple and Jaganandan seated near the security officer's desk. Shortly after, a loud explosion was heard and Jaganandan was found motionless on the ground. The case has been adjourned to July 8, 2024 for further report and disclosure. Stick around when we return. Nigel Hughes accepts nomination for leadership of AFC, David Patterson for chairman, and GGMC issues safety warning for miners amid rainy season hazards.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. He is Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all of these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinate soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in oil. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. He shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
The play of the year is here. Ronald Hollingsworth brings to you Till I Find a Place in Guyana, the Spanish Connection.
Look, after all I do for you, girl, you still insist on living there with this nothing ugly man.
Listen to me, I'm just going to go inside because right now Prakash is just talking a lot of stupid.
I'm gonna
Where is muy stupid?
Don't say. You get door, eh? When you come here first, then you don't know the door. You open a white for me, now you're closing door. Yeah? You know about 15,000, now you're closing door for me. Don't open the door like that to you properly, girl. You be able to say like your price change from 15,000.
June 22 and 23 at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor and Ronald Hollingsworth.
I am pregnant for this thing, man. You say can't get you pregnant. Yes, you are buying as a freak. Talking about muy intelligent water. You think I expect to do it? Linda, get out of this house now. Do I get you out? I am at foot right to direct you.
Till I Find a Place, the Spanish Connection.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Prominent attorney Nigel Hughes has accepted the nomination for leader of the Alliance for Change, while Member of Parliament David Patterson will contest for the position of chairman. Hughes and Patterson expressed their gratitude to the AFC groups and delegates who supported their nominations in a joint statement. They decided to avoid competing against each other to present a united front for the party's best interests. Hughes accepted the nomination for leadership and Patterson will pursue the chairman role. Patterson endorsed Hughes as the best candidate to lead the AFC into the 2025 regional and general elections, expressing confidence in Hughes' leadership. Hughes acknowledged Patterson's sacrifice in declining the leader nomination and praised his service at both party and national levels. Hughes said he looks forward to working with Patterson to build a stronger AFC and a modern Guyana. In other news, the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission has issued a safety alert for miners due to the current rainy season, causing overly saturated and unstable mining areas. This warning comes in response to ongoing mining-related incidents, including fatalities. On Tuesday, the Natural Resources Ministry and GGMC emphasized prioritizing safety over financial gains. They highlighted the hazardous conditions resulting from recent rainfalls, which has made mining areas more unstable. The GGMC stressed the importance of stringent safety measures and urged miners to exercise increased caution. The Commission reaffirmed its commitment to collaborating with miners to improve safe mining practices, emphasizing the need for a collective effort to educate and sensitize miners. Critical safety practices include continuously monitoring mining areas, especially after heavy rains, to detect potential hazards like landslides, flooding, and erosion. The GGMC recommended regular site assessments to address these risks and reminded miners to ensure all safety equipment is functional and personnel are properly trained. Additionally, miners are encouraged to maintain open communication with GGMC officers and relevant authorities. The ministry highlighted that while focusing on mitigating risks during the rainy season, safety practices must be upheld year-round to prevent accidents and safeguard lives. Soon going after the break, China and Philippines face off over South China Sea collision, and U.S. housing costs highest in 30 years. Americans increasingly struggling to find homes.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. It's Credit, and today we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, jerk seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radica went to the supermarket and she papa buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a guy in a map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Cheaply with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. At least 2 people were killed and 9 others injured on Thursday when a passenger train collided head-on with a test-run train near Santiago, Chile. The crash, which occurred in San Bernardo, saw the test car vaulted atop the freight train carrying 1,346 tons of copper and passengers. Security footage showed both trains traveling at high speed before the collision, with initial reports suggesting a signaling failure. Authorities are investigating the cause. The deceased were identified as freight train crew members, while the injured include 4 Chinese nationals. This rare fatal crash follows significant safety improvements since a deadly 2001 accident. Meanwhile, a court in Lima has sentenced 13 former soldiers for systematic rape committed during a conflict in Peru between 1980 and 2000. The decision comes a day after the International Day for the Elimination of Sexual Violence in Conflict. 9 women fought for decades to get the convictions, but this may not be the end of the case. Al Jazeera's Mariana Sanchez reports.
Poor and marginalized, these 8 Andean women waited 40 years for this day.
We are so proud. Women of Manta are fighters. We are an example to all women.
13 former soldiers were sentenced in absentia for up to 12 years in prison for the rape of girls as young as 13 during the armed conflict in Peru. The court found that soldiers who operated in the region of Manta and Vilca in the Andes between 1984 and 1994 used systematic sexual abuse as a weapon of war. 58-year-old Magda Surichaki was the first victim to denounce the widespread sexual abuses 2 decades ago.
We fought more than 20 years, but no one will return us to normality. The psychological trauma has remained in the family.
During the 2-decade armed conflict with the Maoist Shining Path, both the armed forces and the rebels were accused of raping and torturing women and girls as a way to submit and control entire communities. This case, known as Manta y Vilca, is a milestone in the prosecution of war crimes committed in Peru between 1980 and 2000. It's the first time a group of women is recognized as a victim of crimes against humanity. However, this victory may not last.
The sentences may be reversed if a congressional committee passes an amnesty law that will overturn cases typified as crimes against humanity committed before 2001, violating international law.
Congress is looking to give impunity to these crimes, so it is vindicating to correct the damage done in protection of human rights.
None of the defendants attended the sentencing, and possibly none of them will end up in jail. Many governments have been accused of turning the blind eye towards military crimes, says this human rights lawyer.
No one is trying to detain any member of the military. There are no searches nor captures, although we've demanded one interior minister after another to comply with sentences.
Despite this, lawyers will appeal the sentences for longer jail time. For now, these victims and women's rights groups say they celebrate this day of victory, one that finally arrived after a very long time. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Lima.
Internationally, the Philippine military is demanding the Chinese Coast Guard return rifles and equipment seized during a confrontation in a disputed area of the South China Sea. Manila accuses China's Coast Guard of acting like pirates. China disagrees and says its troops acted with restraint after Philippine vessels intentionally rammed its boat. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
A chaotic encounter between Philippine boats and Chinese Coast Guard vessels in the South China Sea. The Philippine military released these videos, which it says shows a confrontation between the two sides on June the 17th, while it was undertaking a supply mission to its grounded warship, the Sierra Madre. Manila describes the actions of the Chinese Coast Guard as a brazen act of aggression, saying troops swarmed its vessels, sounding sirens to disorient personnel, and brandishing axes, knives, and machetes, threatening to harm Filipino sailors. One, it says, lost a thumb in the encounter. Analysts warn the incident marks an escalation in the territorial dispute between the two sides.
Over the past year, we have seen close to 6 incidents, including collisions between Filipino and Chinese vessels, and at the same time also China deploying very aggressive tactics like water cannons that could be potentially fatal.
The Philippine military says troops fought back with their bare hands while Chinese forces behaved like pirates, boarding its vessels and looting and destroying boats and equipment. Beijing denies the accusation and says Manila bears full responsibility.
The Philippines' persistent intrusion into Renaijiao in China's Nansha Islands, despite China's warnings, is the direct cause of the current situation. The China Coast Guard conducted law enforcement measures on site with professionalism and restraint.
China's Coast Guard has released images it says tell a different story. It's accusing the Philippine side of dangerous maneuvers, saying its main supply ship intentionally collided with Chinese vessels. The way Beijing sees it, Manila has reneged on a decades-old commitment to remove its grounded warship, the Sierra Madre, from the area. It says the Philippine military transports not only basic provisions, but construction materials and even weaponry needed to occupy the reef for a long time. Beijing claims almost the entire South China Sea as its territory, including the second Thomas Shoal, where the Sierra Madre has been breached since 1999. Washington, Manila's main security ally, has condemned Beijing's actions and reaffirmed its commitment to a mutual defense treaty. Leaders in the Philippines say their ASEAN neighbors, however, have remained largely silent. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
Finally, a new record by researchers at Harvard University finds the cost of owning a home in the U.S. is now the highest in 30 years. The number of households suffering under a severe financial burden due to rising rent is also at a record high, and the number of homeless people has passed 650,000. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
For millions of people, the cherished American dream of owning a home has slipped out of reach.
So like a house like this, it's a modest suburban house, but...
Yeah, and they got a detached garage, and it's really beautiful.
Mike Price, an accountant, and his wife have spent years searching for an affordable home.
It is very frustrating. It just seems as though things are just so priced above what we can actually afford that we're constantly searching for something.
Why are prices so high?
Well, it's Econ 101. So there are many more home buyers than there are homes for sale. And so that imbalance in supply and demand has just really pushed prices up. Mortgage rates were 3% during the pandemic. They're 7% now. So that means it costs more to buy a house, and that makes it tougher for first-time buyers, definitely.
In Chicago, like many U.S. cities, former working-class homes now cost millions. New data shows there are 550 cities where the typical home value is $1 million or more, including 210 cities in California alone. And there's a yawning racial gap in home ownership.
The home ownership rate between Black and Latino households and white households in Chicago and even nationally is as much as a 30% gap, where upwards of 70 to 75% of white households are homeowners, and only 30 and 40% of Latino and Black households are homeowners.
For now, Price is thankful to have a roof over his head.
I feel for those people who are struggling and need to get out and get someplace before it's too late, before they're out in the streets.
People like Johnny in Chicago, who once worked a steady job but fell on hard times. He declined to give his last name.
I would stay in an apartment. It's just the money thing.
Will housing prices start going down? Don't bet on it.
The home prices are pretty much where they're going to be for the foreseeable future, and it doesn't seem like they're going to fall anytime soon.
Lack of affordable housing is one of many factors that have put Americans in a sour mood about the economy. And that's a problem for President Joe Biden as he goes head-to-head with former President Donald Trump in November's election. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Burbank, California.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 5:30 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.